So, the paradigm of separation. People are divided within themselves. You're living in your head. You know, you'll have your mind going, right? Your mental concepts, and then your body is just like ailing. And then you go to the doctor to fix physical symptoms, but don't heal the mental. You know, chakras are the systematic map for your personal growth. They are your mental organs. Like in your physical being, you have your lungs, your heart, you know, your kidneys. Those are your mental organs. And it's where you store things. So people think of chakras as you work from the bottom up as a ladder to, you know, reach higher consciousness. But what you need to do is also work down, because if you start with your mind, you start with an idea. You know, you bring your vision to being. So you densify your thought pattern and architect of your soul, you know. You do bioenergetic exercises, spirit and matter, and combined mind into body instead of being divided. And chakras mean wheel. They are the wheels of life, the expression of life force. And you are either deficit or you overcompensate from avoidance and karma. I mean, karma is literally the simple act of living. And we pay it off with our dharma, is what you give to the world. Now, you can't just be this perfect person, because no matter what, you're going to have seen as negative karma. You can't grow things in a garden without messing with some insect's home, you know? Like, you can't do something nice without there still having a negative repercussion to something, to somebody, somewhere. And it's like, if you're trying to open your higher forms but don't focus on the lower, you're all air up in your mind. You're all air up there. Like, yeah, you're spiritual and woke, but can you pay your bills? So it's like, since I started having my Kundalini awakenings, my problem is I've gotten very close and far. And, you know, people can go through their whole life trying to have these awakenings. And I wasn't asking for them. Hell, I didn't even know what it was until it happened. And then, like, it kept happening. And then I realized what was happening. And so, because I was, like, fearful of it, finally, I was getting these knots. The Kundalini is a serpent basically coiled around your spine. And when you have a Kundalini awakening, the serpent awakens. And my experiences were like almost completely the same experiences that others have had with it. And that's why I'm like, wow, this is what happened, and I didn't even know. So it's like when you get those and then you don't fully let it happen, that energy's still blocked in you. So like the Kundalini wants to pierce through those knots, because it's all the places we're not. You have one body that can be in the present, but your mind can be anywhere, you know? your survival instincts, and it's where the divine resides, is you in your temple. You are your temple. So let's talk about the 7 main chakras that the Western world, uses. And yes, there are hundreds of chakras in your body and meridian lines, but we only, gravitate towards the main ones, especially in the Western world. So your sacral is at your bottom, like at your groin. It's your root chakra, and what it craves is food, like a protein food. It needs to be grounded to be ungrounded. So to do this, you can look at legs, right? Look at people's legs. Like, say somebody has a bigger upper body and little legs, right? So they have, no grounding. They're too much up top, and people who are just larger, it's like they have more earth, more matter grounded, but didn't let it go. So to figure out how to make your living, you have to take responsibility to provide for yourself. That's being grounded. So one thing you can do is stand, and you move your toes out while you bend your knees. That will help charge the legs. I mean, you have to literally plug in to the world to receive. Go walking barefoot. It's like, say you're running across concrete. What is that gonna do? Feet were made to naturally walk on the earth, because the earth has give and take. And you can't have that with concrete. It's human resonance. It's like, then you have your bladder, womb, which is water energy, and you have to get your energy moving to get it moving in the world. Like emotion, it's E to motion, to move out, to move emotion. So you choose emotions for pleasure, and your body and mind expand in states of pleasure. Same thing during sex. But pain, say somebody's gonna try to hit you, you're gonna contract, constrict and tense up. And if you do that too much of constricting, you're gonna have a dry, no pleasure, not connected life. Now, on the other hand, if you're too indulgent and you don't resist pleasure, and that puts too much excess in your second chakra, and then it's over sexual versus over emotional. It's what are your sexual needs? Work through your emotions. And a good thing to do is yoga, cat or cow movements for your sacrum. Anything movement with your hips, belly dancing, things like that. Now, your third chakra is fire, and it's literally the metabolism of food into energy, and also your fear of risk. And when it's excessive, you're dominating and aggressive, and you need to move in line with intention, power, cycle of fear and withdrawal, which is the opposite of power. And you have to be present to win. So it's at the stomach, you know, your unity. You have to burn your ego, and like in yoga, do breath of fire, rapid breathing techniques, and even laughing with people is so great to really work on your third chakra. So then your fourth chakra is your heart, and that's literally in the middle of 3 other chakras. It's directly in the middle. So it's your middle heaven coming down into spirit imbalance, fails relationships, an unstruck sound of being centered. You start meddling, or you become codependent. That's excessive heart chakra, because you just want to love people and have no boundaries. And then otherwise, you're judgmental, you criticize, you block your heart. And you can literally see this on people, like when people like sit down and they roll their shoulders forward, or they sit up straight, you know, like a military person. That's like being blocked and unblocked. So the way to help your heart chakra is compassion, love, hug without yielding. You know, you need a soft stance. You know, you're gonna go and hug somebody. You don't want to hug a mannequin. You need something soft. Breathing softens you. It is the air element. So now the 5th chakra is, you know, sound, your throat, speaking. And it can't, like, think of it, you can't just pour stuff out. That is literally your body's bottleneck. So you can't just like pour out of it too fast, or we spill, or if it's too thick, it won't come through. So then it's just blocked. Sound waves oscillate. Frequency peaks and valleys of sound locks into another one. So say if you're playing a cello, and then you bring in another cello playing the exact same thing, it's not going to change the pitch, but it's going to make it louder when 2 are playing instead of 1. It's a harmony. So movements of being in a conversation of listener and speaker synchronized. Doing mantras, which are vibrational frequency. It's like an alarm clock, which is also vibrational frequency. It's like shaking your arm to wake up, and your alarm clock is literally piercing your sleep with loud frequency. It is disrupting your vibrational frequency of sleep. So work on transcendental meditation, mantras, focus your mind, synchronize your left and your right brain, which is what meditation and all that does. Because you can either talk a lot or be shy, and some people have a loud voice or a soft voice, and layers of density of what we do or don't say make sound. So, you know, make noise. You know, a lot of people go things like that. You know what I'm saying? Mantras. Let's move to the 6th. So that's your brain. that comes from light. And I see it as seeing, navigating, how you orient in space. And you think of patterns of what's next to have clarity. So to have clarity, you have to sit still. So like think about, muddy, dirty water. When it sits, it clarifies itself. It separates. And that's what clarifies it. That's insight. Like your pineal gland is the only single organ in your brain. It is a light-sensitive organ, stimulated with sleep and dreaming. So you could be, say you're a know-it-all that makes you head blind. So if you meditate while you're being grounded instead of projecting fear, ask. So your 7th chakra is your crown, which is above your head. And it is also called like the infinite unfolding lotus to higher self. And also, in layman's terms, your intelligence. And then when you're concentrating and focusing, like say when you're concentrating, you're blocking everything else. Your focus is on something. So if you calm your mind and dwell in the infinite and the ability to sit in your stillness, you live in the hunger for spirit and intelligence, but then you won't think for yourself. You don't inquire or question, like you wouldn't inquire or question things or research. You're just head blind, and then you're cynic. So, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to talk on chakras really quickly, and I really am wanting some more balance back in my life because I've had like a down past few weeks, and I know that it's up to me to change that. And it's like it's been up and down like every day, but lately it's been like down the past few days, and I'm like, I have to get back to myself. I have to get in alignment with myself. So look into balancing your chakras, guys. You also got to remember that your chakras like can block and unblock at any point, like when you're going through stuff, and they don't have to be blocked or unblocked in any particular order. So it's really about mindfulness and then seeing that block, clearing the block, and then continue moving forward. Thanks so much for listening in. Hope you enjoyed the channel.